Having recently told you the story of how Lord's Cricket Ground came about, we thought it would only be fair to complete the set and do its younger brother across the river. So strap yourself in as we tell you the story of the Oval Cricket Ground and why this ground is so iconic to not only cricket but the whole of sport. I know what you're thinking, where on earth does the name Oval come from? Well, we're off to the late 18th century when an oval road was first laid to encompass that glamorous of all things, a cabbage patch and market garden situated in the Kennington area of London, or Surrey as it was at the time. The road was first known as Poplar Grove, but was renamed to the Oval by 1830, and cricket would come to the area in 1845 when the local team, Montpellier Cricket Club, were looking to move from their existing home in nearby Walworth to the Oval. The club were able to get a lease from the owner of the cabbage patch, the Duchy of Cornwall, who still owns the ground and a good part of Kennington to boot, converting it into a cricket ground. In case you were wondering who the Duchy of Cornwall is, it's everyone's favourite climate activist. No, not you Greta, but the man who likes briefcases with cash.
You naughty naughty, you teasing me, you naughty naughty.
Prince Charles. Once the ground was sorted, a new club would be formed to call the Oval home, which was Surrey County Cricket Club. One of the ground's early highlights wasn't even to do with cricket, it was to do with the world's #1 sport. Oh, bugger off American rugby ball. The ground would host the first FA Cup final in 1872 between Wanderers and Royal Engineers. Wanderers would win 1-0, but the Engineers would have the last laugh, with Wanderers going defunct in the late 1880s, and the Engineers are still going strong today in the specially created Army League. After this, the ground would host 21 of the next 22 FA Cup finals, and is the venue which has hosted the second most finals, apart from the obvious. Not bad for a cricket ground. Moving on from that slight football detour, in 1880, the ground would take the title of being the first to host a test match in the country, with England playing against Australia, with England winning by 5 wickets. 2 years later, the ground would host another test match between England and the Aussies, however this time Australia would win. As a result of this loss, British newspaper The Sporting Times published a mock obituary for English cricket in which it ended by saying the body will be cremated and the ashes taken to Australia, and from this, arguably cricket's most famous spectacle would be born. In 1898, the ground would get its iconic centrepiece, the pavilion, designed by a chap called Thomas Muirhead and his impeccable moustache, which is still around to this day. The pavilion, not the moustache. During World War II, the stadium would be set up as a transit camp for prisoners of war, but was sadly never used, as I'm sure Timo Werner's granddad would have been exceptional at hitting balls out of the ground.
And he's wondering how he didn't put that one away. No.
For much of the 20th century, the pavilion was the main part of the ground which stole all the limelight. However, this would change in 2002, when the Vauxhall End was redeveloped, demolishing 4 stands named after Surrey cricket greats, to create a single 4-tier grandstand, which was then named after a facilities management service. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it. The new stand was completed in 2005 and would take the capacity of the ground to 23,000. The latest development on the ground, dubbed One Oval Square, creates a new 3-tiered stand next to the existing pavilion, increasing the capacity of the ground to 28,000, as well as providing all the posh amenities one would want for the cricket, except a roof. The ground has big ambitions going forward, with grand plans for expansion, looking to take the capacity to 40,000 and overtake its older brother Lord's as the biggest ground in the land. Let's hope their pint prices don't overtake them either.
How much? 500.
£500 or pence?